Hello. Hello.
Good day.
Good afternoon. Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. You have another name?
No, just Tiffany.
Well, I'm trying to look for you. What's your last name?
Monica.
You just joined it.
Yeah, just yes,
Okay. Tiffany.
Monica.
Okay. Company work for?
Bahamas Law Enforcement Credit Union.
What was the hyphenation for that? The
Yes,
short for that? Pardon me?
BLECCU.
BLECCU. Okay. You're here. Tiffany Francis is here. Is here. Alan's here. Okay. I think it's about. Gee, you all want a video, eh?
Nope. I just trying to fix it.
I'll do the video. What's your email?
Tiffany Monica at gmail.com.
Your contact?
823-1379.
823-1379. Okay. All right. That's good. Nobody else has joined. I mean, all the people here, but ain't nobody joining.
Oh,
Archer. Nine. Let me see under you. Have your mic on mute. That person is here. Hello.
me?
No, I looking for the others. See nobody else saying nothing.
Hello.
Hello.
Good
Hi.
afternoon. Good evening.
Hi.
Sorry.
Good day,
Hi.
good day.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hi. Hi.
Good
Well,
evening.
we just have to wait for. I think it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 6 more persons. So usually I try to give at least a 10 minutes because a lot of persons traveling home and yeah, so traffic is outrageous. So okay, who else has joined? Travis Monroe. Okay. Have y'all gotten a book?
Yes, I got mine to do.
No, I
I don't have a book.
No, I haven't.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Not
Some
as
don't.
yet.
I haven't
Pardon
got
me?
mine.
Okay. Well, like today is just introduction, and so when y'all think y'all gonna have your book?
I could get my book tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll probably have mine by tomorrow as well.
Okay, so once y'all have them by tomorrow, because like I say, um, I usually give assignments for each class, which I will go in further detail later when the other persons come, because I don't want to repeat myself again. Okay. And my name is Andrea Smith. Okay. Three more persons to come. I think three or more. More than that. Four, five more persons to come. One, two, three, four, five more persons. Well, like I say, we'll just give them 10 minutes, okay? Anybody else? Nobody else came. Tony Roll. That was- hmm, Okay. Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3. 3 persons. Listen. Okay, hi, we can get started. Hello?
Yeah,
Hi.
yeah.
Listening.
Yeah. Okay, so we can get started. Okay, some housekeeping matters first, and then I will talk about the course outline, but I should first ask you all to introduce yourself, say where you work and what you do. Anyone can start.
Good night. My name is Carissa Francois. I work at Fidelity Bank and I'm a loan officer.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? You
Travis
say you work
Monroe,
at,
good night.
sorry, you work at Fidelity?
Yes, ma'am.
How long you been there?
6 months.
Or you just come? Okay. All right. Sorry, Travis.
Good night, everybody. Travis Monroe, Bank of the Bahamas, Business Development.
Okay. Thank you. Don't be shy. Anyone else? Well, all you all have to
Good
introduce
night.
yourself.
Good night, Samika Archer, Central Bank. I
Good.
deal with procurements.
Okay. Next person.
Good night. My name is Renelle Wilson. I work at the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas in the Intermediaries and Market Conduct Unit.
Okay. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Tiffany Munker from Bahamas Law Enforcement Credit Union. I'm in member services.
Okay. Thank you.
Good night. My name is Tony Roll and I work at Fidelity Bank as well.
You just reached to it.
Yes, 5 months.
Okay. Boy, a lot of new people. Okay. What area you work in?
My service.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Mhm,
Good night, I'm Helene Farmer.
mhm. That's it? You ain't saying nothing else?
I used to work at Fidelity Bank. I'm currently on maternity.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Used to be Fidelity. Why all y'all work at Fidelity? Wow. They paying y'all school fee. Eh? Don't worry, I used to work there. That's why I'm saying that. Next person.
Good night. Hello, can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, my name is Rebecca Strawn. I'm with the Bahamas Law Enforcement Credit Union, and I am also in member services.
Okay, thank you. Let me see if that's all. One more person from
Good night.
Mhm.
My name is Alexis Sinclair. I work at the Bahamas Law Enforcement as well, and I'm a teller.
Okay. Okay, I think that's it regarding the persons that are here. Anybody else who, I think everybody said the persons who are here. Okay. Okay, my name is Andrea Smith. I am a retiree, early retiree from Fidelity Bank. Well, I retired from them 2021. When I was there, I was a senior accountant responsible for Cayman. But I left in 2021 and then I just did a contract job working at Omni doing their internal audit work. I still work part-time for them. And then I also teach for BIFs off and on. Yes. I am a mother of three. I have three sons. One lives in the US, one lives in Canada, and I have a son who lives here who also works at Central Bank. Yes. And like I say, I'm a person, when we set deadlines, I love my deadlines to be met. So let's do some housekeeping. Okay. Classes start at 6. I will give you 10 minutes because like I say, I know we work, y'all work, and the traffic for you to get from work to home. So I allow 10 minutes before I would start class. And most of you said y'all don't have your books. So I'm going to say this. You're responsible for reading your chapter, coming to class prepared for discussion. I've been teaching this class from 2015, and it's a constant every year when I teach. It's saying the same thing over and over. I'm going to ask a question. If you come to class and I said, who read? Everybody was like, I was so busy, Miss Smith. I had this to do or that happened. I couldn't read. We come to class. We're taking up time reading in class. Is that beneficial? Is that boring? What is that? Your take from it. What is it if you have to come to class and we got to read when you were supposed to read so we can have a lively discussion? What is your take on that? Anyone? Hello?
Sorry, could you repeat that for me, please?
I said, if I give you a chapter to read, like tonight, I'm going to say for all of y'all when y'all get everybody have your book. I need you to read chapter one, and come to class because I'm going to give you an assignment too. Come to class so we can discuss it, talk about. Like I say, I won't fault y'all today because a lot of y'all don't have the book. But you come to class and nobody read, so they expect the teacher to say, Archer, you read. Oh, you read. I standing there reading. It's so boring. I'm just asking if y'all read ahead of time and we come to class to just for discussion or just reading in class. What is your take? Boring reading in class or coming to class prepared for a discussion?
It makes more sense to come to class prepared.
Yeah.
And even though some of us might, more than likely, we're going to have times when we can't read because of work, at least if most of us are prepared, we're able to help the ones who are not.
And why do you feel if your class is once a week, if you put in, and a lot of stuff, y'all, in banking, in financial services, so y'all should be able, a lot of stuff should, be able to have a lively discussion. And so, like I said, it makes it very boring. It draws the classes, there's nothing taken back because if I have to come to class and say to y'all who are adults, Did you read? Oh no, Miss Smith, I was so busy. Oh, Miss Smith, I didn't. I wish I asked which one of you all was able to be on your phone. So that's why I say that's an issue for me, to when persons say, oh, I didn't have time to read. I didn't have time to do that. I didn't say the assignment, but I'm just saying try to read, at least try to read, even if not all, be able to participate in the class by, say, at least I read something, I'm able to participate. And so to me, that is a big thing for me, because I really get tired of reiterating it to students who are adults. And like I say, I understand that we all work and sometimes time is short. We have kids. So a lot of times things like that we can't do, but try make the effort to do some kind of reading, even if you couldn't finish the whole chapter, but at least you could participate in the discussion. And late assignments. Exceptions are given if you say to me that this happened, I was not able to do it, can you give me an extension? But you forewarning me, and you're not coming to class and saying, I didn't do it. I will give everybody my email, my cell number. You can always reach out to me. So let me give it to y'all now. So my email, you all have a pen?
Yes.
I do.
Okay, my email is ap.smith .009 at gmail.com. My cell is 565-3685. So if you say you were not able to complete the assignment, don't reach the class and say, oh, I didn't do the assignment. Because I'm not going to take a late assignment. If we haven't agreed that it's okay for me to do it, I won't take it. So you have to say to me, Ms. Smith, I know my assignment is due. That's why I give you my cell. I give you my email. You can do either. Come by, contact me by cell or email. That's fine with me. Quiz and homework. Yes, I give quiz. And every homework or quiz that you see, I won't give you something different when it comes to the exam. I will build on your quizzes and your assignments when it comes to the midterm exam, when it comes to the final exam. I will build on those, so you won't be able to say, I didn't see that before. Like I say again, I know you work, I know you have your load, so I'm not going to try to, just keep pulling stuff out of the hat for an exam. But some things you would have already seen before, and what you haven't seen, I would say to you, these are the areas that you can look forward to seeing questions from. Before I give, all my exams were totally multiple choice. People love it, and then some people say, "Oh, Miss Smith, these are too much dates. Oh, Miss Smith, this is just too much." So I learned that when I first started teaching, I used to have like 20, 25 students, and I would give everybody essays and short answers. And boy, when it came to start marking them papers, it was like, and even an exam, you give an exam. Some of the foolishness that I used to see in those when I give them an essay to do or a short answer, I can safely say there was one paper I was marking, and the girl was talking about how she went to the mall shopping. I was like, what is this? So then I was just taken aback and realized that people just run on and they made no sense and they just try to fill the paper. And so I started doing multiple choice, but this time I'm going to mix it up, not just multiple choice and short answers or true and false. I'm going to mix it up and go from there. Yeah. But like I say, whatever you see on the quizzes and assignments, you will see them again in your midterm exam, your final exam. Any question? Any concern? I'm gonna take that as no.
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right now. So nobody has really the course outline. Only some of y'all who have the book, right? The course outline, okay. The grading system. Homework is 15%. You will have a small project, which is 10%. You have midterm, which is 35, and you have your final, which is 40. Okay, so we have 10 chapters, and then I have a reading material which talks about the credit bureau. I got some information and I just put it together. It's for good reading, and you will see it again, but I just put it in the back of the book. So you'll see it again, just the credit bureau for reading. Okay, the first chapter talks about the history of banks in the UK and in the Bahamas. And when I say history about the banks in the UK and the Bahamas, I talk about the UK banks like Bank of England, the beginning, how the modern bank began 30 years later. I also talk about the Trustee Savings Bank in the UK when it started from 1810 to 1995. I talk about the trustee and customers, the crisis that happened. And then I talked about the flotation beyond. I talk about Lloyd's Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, all of these. You'd see I just give a brief history of all of them. Then we come to the history of some banks in the Bahamas. First and foremost, I talk about the central bank, just a brief about the central bank, talking about the Central Bank Act, Bahamas Act of 2000. I talked about that. Then I talk about how the central bank the objective is to safeguard the external values of Bahamian dollars. I talk about the exchange and control regulations. And so there's some of things, talk about how the central bank role is the issuer of legal tender, and talk about banker to both domestic banks and government, and regulatory and supervisory of banking sector. We know the central bank on the whole regulates the banks, financial institutions. We know we have the Security Commission, which also deals, we have the Insurance Commission. So I touch on all of those. And then I talk about Bank of Bahamas, and a lot of students in my past class, they didn't even know some of the history of Bank of the Bahamas. So I list some milestones in the Bank of the Bahamas, where it was and where it is today, because where it was back in those days, Bank of the Bahamas made ways, made money. There was never a deficit where the bank didn't make money. So I talk about all of that. I give milestones, and like I go straight up to 2013. I talk about Royal Bank of the Bahamas and how Nathaniel Benaby had this big position, one of the first Black Bahamians who aspired to that position. Then I talked about how Royal Bank, like most banks today, some banks today and other institutions, they pay for their staff to go to school. So, at that point, it used to be they donated like $1 million to the College of the Bahamas, like in 2008. That's what they did. Yeah. Uh-huh. Can you give me 1 second, please? Hello?
Okay.
Okay.
No
Okay.
problem.
Okay. Close the door, Emma. Close the door. Hi, sorry about that. Okay, I am back. Then we talk about the Bahamas Development Bank too. We know the Bahamas Development Bank is a bank that, lend to people, especially for small businesses. And I talked about the different locations that they have. I talk about Commonwealth Bank and their history. And we know Commonwealth Bank is a Bahamian bank. Just I didn't speak about Fidelity, but Fidelity is also, yeah.
All banks in there or just yours?
Different
Pardon me? No, I have Bahamas Development Bank, Royal Bank, Bank of the Bahamas, and Central Bank. And then I talk about the history of the bank in the UK, like Lloyd's Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland. And that's what I talked about, just giving a brief history of them. Okay, and that's chapter 1. So chapter 1 is quite easy because it's just really going over the history, trying to look at the important dates, trying to see what happened, like I said, with Bank of the Bahamas, where Bank of the Bahamas got to where it used to be. You'll see the difference as to what happened back in their milestone. And at one point, they had a bank in Miami, which was Bank of Montreal too. They had, because Bank of the Bahamas come from Bank of Montreal. That's where they came from. And so I talked about all of that. Yeah. So, like I say, the history of the banks. Commonwealth Bank talked about how the Simonets and how they run the show at Commonwealth Bank, persons who was in charge, persons who had shares. So there's stuff that I talk about in chapter 1. Chapter 2, I talk about what is a bank. The different types of banks, like commercial banks. Talked about commercial bank, the central bank, mergers, retail banks, mutual saving bank, credit unions. Yes, which we have several persons who worked it out. I talk about the trust companies and pension, which we know we have like CFA, we have Kalina do it too. We have Royal Fidelity. We have Leno, all of those who deals with, trust, mutual funds, pension, brokerage accounts. Yes, I touch on all of those. Then in chapter 2, I also talk about credit creation, the process of credit creation, how we have liability, asset, deposits. And so I give you a little short to show how deposit, cash, liabilities, asset and liabilities. So that's that portion of it. So chapter 2 is, most of you will be kind of aware of some of the banks that we have and the products and services they offer. Yes. And then chapter 3, we talk about banks and the economy. And when I say banks and the economy, we talk about what is money, the money supply, the monetary policy of the Bahamas, which relates with the central bank. We talk about the functions of money, the commodity versus flat money. And I gave little pictures showing how with the dollars and talk about the money M1, M2, M3, M0, talk about the definition of monetary policies, the definition of money supplies and how the breakdown of money supplies, how it's broken down, the definition of active money, talked about active money, supplies, and then we talk about the history of the supply. Then I go on to talk about monetary policies in the Bahamas and its objectives, and which we know central bank have a lot to do. That central part of central bank. Talk about the different committees, the Monetary Policies Committee, because they had a committee which dealt with all all of the policies and procedures. Then I did an overview of the financial services in the Bahamas. Chapter 4 totally deals with bank regulations. And when we say bank regulations, we know we're talking about the central bank, the need for regulations, who regulates. We talk about Basel 1, I think, Basel 2, Basel 3 was supposed to be online from that time. For years, they said it was to come on. Miss, what? That's Archer? Miss Archer? Miss Archer?
Hi,
Hi, what area you say you work at? In Central Bank?
I'm in procurement.
Okay, so you ain't dealing nothing with this on Basel 3 was supposed to come out from that time, eh?
No, that's bank supervision.
I say from that time, I say, I hope that soon come up. Then I talk about the 3 pillars, the 3 options, Financial Service Authority. I just gave a snippet of it in the UK. Then I talk about the legal regulatory frame in the Bahamas, everything to do with central bank, this and some to do with different, like the financial intelligence agents, FIU. I talked about the different acts, like the proceeds of crime, the POCA. I talk about all of that, FIDA. I talk about all of that, the role of the MLRO. I talk about the guidelines of preventing money laundering. And so there's stuff that I talk about in chapter 4. I also dealt with types of financial risks that in the financial centers. We have credit risk, liquidity risk, market risk, operational risk, and reputational risk, legal risk. Anyone can say to me, what is reputational risk? When does a business, a bank, a company face reputational risks? Boy, this don't be how y'all gonna be when we start classes. Nobody can tell me what they feel reputational risk is all about.
You said reputational risk? Reputation?
Yeah, like your reputation. Yeah, like in a bank, what causes customers to look at a bank with their reputational risk, their risk? Why you think they face a risk with their reputation?
Because I think it's so much competition. Some persons feel as if, like, to try to step out of the box. Then you don't want to be known as a business that just always does things one way. You don't try to accommodate your customer and the customer's needs.
And so when a customer comes into your bank or your business and you give bad service, or like you say, and okay, every time I come to rate change, every time I come, they're having issues. So one customer could create a whole problem for a bank. And you know why? Because one customer, bad news spread quickly. So one customer could come into a bank and say, oh, they thief my money. Oh, this happened, the next happened. Then the next customer started, oh yeah, like how they were saying with this this Visa, people taking money, and it seems as if all the banks was affected. I don't know if any of you banks was affected where customers' money been scammed off their accounts. I know I saw a lineup with some people that they saying their bank was affected. Fidelity, anybody know if anything happened at Fidelity? Royal Bank? A BOB? Because I read in the paper, so I'm just trying to find out if y'all are aware what happened at your bank. Hello?
I
Anybody
know,
aware?
I know, you mean with a person's accounts getting hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know good much. I had a few cousins and the Christmas
Mm-hmm.
cards, their accounts got hit thousands. And
Child,
that's
that's
still an investigation and the bank is
I
taking
tell
like
people.
90 days.
Oh, especially if it's your debit card. I tell people, don't put no money on your account where your debit card died. And
Right,
I
yes.
say to people too, I say if you want where you could just get a prepaid Visa account where you load your money. So when
And
you
use as you
load your
go.
money, it's just like a debit card, but you load your money and guess what? You get reward points for it. Unlike a
Yes.
debit card, you don't get nothing. And like some people have spent so much money on using their debit card when they could have been using a prepaid Visa. You don't got to get a credit card, just get a prepaid Visa. I know when I was at Fidelity, it was $2 to load. Every time I load my money, I
Mm-hmm.
load. And instead of using that debit card, because I had a problem with the debit card, I sitting at my desk when I worked at Fidelity, and all I hear is my phone going off, ping, 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 ping. I say, what I hear? Who using my card? And trust me, those people must have took $700 off my account. And
Yeah,
I
Lord.
had to wait for must see
Mm-hmm.
3 months. They say
Mm-hmm.
45 days or so. Three
Mm-hmm.
months before I get my money back because they sometimes think you trying to fraud. And so that's why I always say to people, if you don't want a credit card, get a prepaid Visa. So when you get a prepaid Visa, you just load your money just like a debit card, but you're getting some reward points back. When you get them rewards, I tell them with my credit card, I get so much reward points and trust me, I was able to buy my ticket, buy my ticket, buy my ticket. That's what I tell them. I pay every bill, light bill, water bill, grocery, everything. So I get my
But
points.
but they
That's
have
just
features on those cards, on your debit cards, where you can lock your card from certain
right. Yes. But see, people, a lot of people, like I say here again, to customer service reps or when persons open their accounts, does the person opening the account give tell the customer the things, the features? And see, a lot of times that's not happened because we know in the banking world today, in the Bahamas and around the world, but I have to speak for here, the competition is out the door because guess what? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
after the same product. The only thing distinguish the financial services is that customer service. So if you give good service, that other bank may be offering them, well, bank look like there's offer no interest. So I don't even know. I was at Royal Bank. I say, girl, what y'all paying me on my account? She say, Miss Smith, zero. I say, no interest. I say, child, let me up my money. And then I took my money and put it in Fidelity because I took early retirement. I left. And so because I was a retiree, Fidelity gave me the same staff rate because of being a retiree of that institution. So I put some of my money in Fidelity. I put it there because I say, hey, I get an interest. I leave all my money. I leave some, but I don't leave it on an account that is tied to my
The
debit
service.
card.
Mm-hmm.
I leave it there so I could transfer money when I want to purchase something that I didn't want to use my credit card. I would say, okay, or if I'm away, I do that, but I transfer the money when I need to go use it. Sometimes I standing right in the food store transferring the money. That debit card is like, after hearing that risk is, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it is. You could imagine going to your account and find out that you had $5,000 and you find $25. The woman
But
says she was left with $16 after having thousands of dollars on her account. Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I opened up a bank account for the same reason, just the same. But after I saw certain things happen to the bank, I just put money on my bank account just to use. But my credit
Yep.
union, I leave my money there.
Yep. You have to. You have to. What's the credit union rates anyhow? What's your rate? Or only government people could join your?
But my part, this is law enforcement. So,
Okay.
but it fluctuates. The percentage,
Oh,
the dividends, it fluctuates. It could go from right now. It's 3.25.
okay.
When I first started, it was like five. You used to get 5.5, then went to 5, and then
Yeah.
gone to 4. It goes up and down. But I
Okay.
feel safe my money in the credit union.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
when I go to work, I know the money there. But when I
So
put it on my regular account, bank account,
yeah. Yeah. So does the credit union now offer credit cards?
yes, I'm in charge of credit card as well.
Okay. Okay. So y'all have your own credit card now,
We have our own credit card, but it's through Fidelity.
right? Because I know that's what it used to be through
Mm-hmm.
Fidelity. So I just wanted to know if y'all now operates on your own. Okay.
No, we have to go to the bank.
Okay. All right. But reputational risk, that's what reputational risk is. Any business where customer don't like your service and you do something wrong, they spread it. You'll see, now social media will be on Facebook talking about that same company. Then everybody boycotting that company ain't going there. Just like when we had a situation, I don't know what was going on, but people was trying to boycott the Bahamas. So, like I say, reputational risk is a risk that could cost a company to go out of business. A lot of y'all may not know. Years ago, I think it was in 2000. Can't fully remember the Gulf Union Bank, which is by the Sheraton Hotel, where MoneyGram and all them was in there. I think the court thing was in there too, and trust me, Gulf Union Bank went and took. They closed down. One person here that bank Gulf Union Bank closing. Man, everybody was lined up. You know how much people lost money in Gulf Union Bank? A lot of people. And whether we believe it or not, that's where the deposit insurance, I don't know if you all know about the deposit insurance, but the deposit insurance was created by Central Bank. So now they have a deposit insurance where if your money insured for 50,000, so if you have 2 million, you better try spread it out, spread it out, spread it out. But and Gulf Union Bank cost that unit to be created, where we now have a deposit insurance where 50,000 in the U.S. I'm not sure if it's gone up, but in the U.S. the deposit insurance is like 150,000 for every customer. So if you have $1 million on the bank and something happened to the bank, just remember you only get now 50,000. I don't know if it increased, but I don't think so. Yeah, 50,000 you're insured for. Yeah, and then most of you know about CLECO. CLECO took a lot of persons' money. A lot of people because CLECO was offering such a great interest, a lot of people took their pension money and took it out. Because I remember a lot of people, when I worked at Fidelity, a lot of people took their money from there and took it to CLECO, and a lot of them lost their money because CLECO's still in the process. A lot of people has not gotten money back from CLECO. And so I know I almost was that person because I had sold two pieces of property to put aside for my children when they went to college. And the lady said, girl, you could come put your money here. Girl, we give you 6.7%. I look at her. I say, yeah, I should. I say, And I'm so happy every day of my life I never do that. Because trust me, I would have really been devastated. Yeah. So, like I say, a lot of times we have to really do more reading, more digging, searching before we go and make an investment. And as we know now, around the world, it's like sometimes even our pension that is invested in different stocks and different like balance fund and stuff like that. If you take a look at your pension, you see a lot. Like I said, when you're young, you can take risks. But I always used to tell them, I don't take risks. I say, that's fine. Y'all give me 3% on my funds. I good. I don't need none of them high risk funds. I like take low risk. Don't give me nothing that say high risk because the young people need to build up their money. I put it there. Y'all give me 2%, 3%. Good. That's fine for me. I need to invest in nothing. And then when I get my pension statement, I looking at it and seeing more bracket, where you all take where money, because the stock drop, you all take money. So here again, like I say, Reputational risk is in any business, because like I say, you could come to a shop or you could go somewhere and buy some food and you find a roach or something in it that got a spread, and somebody will say, "Oh no, I ain't going back there. Look at the Chinese place on Farrington Road where they say the cashier fell out, and when they went in there, they find all kind of terrible things in that business, so they shut it down." Yeah, so and that's reputational risk. So people ain't going back there, you know. I mean, some people they ain't care. You hear they say there was a dog in the back. They still going to go eat from that Chinese place. So, but reputational risk is when your reputation is really being targeted. Yeah, and sometimes people are innocent. Things are innocent, and people just target you. So there goes your reputation. Also talk about the future of regulations. Talk about the first step towards regulatory cooperation. Talk about the problems facing greater regulatory cooperation. Talk about the roadmap for the future, and that's really dealing with, like I say, that chapter 4 is really dealing with the central bank, yeah, and the different risks that is happening in like I say, in any business, yeah. Then on chapter 5 we talk about banker and customer relations. Like I say, for y'all who work in financial institutions, insurance company, central bank, all of you, you know, this chapter should, you know, ring some bell to y'all. What is a bank? What is the meaning of a banker? What is the meaning of, you know, you have personal bankers, you have commercial bankers, investment bankers, merchant bankers. What is a customer? Also asking you to say, what is a customer? What is a banker customer relationship? And like I say, in the financial sector we are in today, the financial sector is really, really competitive, because who give loans? Which one of you? I know someone said they work in loans. Who work in loans?
I do.
That's Fidelity, right? That's Roll.
No, Francois.
Okay, Francois, you work at which branch?
Wolf Road.
Oh Jesus, you going to that branch? Oh gee, y'all have all them customers. Y'all still have them customers stress y'all. Them customers is 2 years in that branch.
Yes,
Y'all
ma'am.
said when I used to work that one. No, I was training there when I was doing audit. Because when I came to Fidelity, I was a senior internal auditor. So when I used to go to that branch, I used to dread that. Yeah, but you know the competition in lending, and when I was at Fidelity, I know the competition was Commonwealth Bank. Do y'all still have Commonwealth, or y'all have other banks now, like BOB and all of them sneaking in?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I know Commonwealth, they used to always, I know, like when I used to travel to Abaco or Freeport, they used to say, and when I say I worked at Fidelity, they be like, "You all, I say, "Oh yeah, I use Commonwealth." Yeah, I know. We be in competition all the time. I don't know if y'all still have where customers to come. And that's what I say, when people talk about the banks putting customers in debt, that's not so. Because you could say to that customer, "Miss, you just get this loan. Why are you back here again?" "Oh, I need this." Man, they just get one loan, you know. And one thing, and that's why I say, I don't know if officers say to these customers, "Miss, you know, when you come and get this loan, you pay an administration fee, government stamp that." And some of them, they rewrite their loans and they walk away with $500, and they rewrite their loan when they administration fees and government stamp tax is more than that. Do y'all still have that, Miss Francois?
What's that? The limit?
These people, no,
Yeah.
these people who come and they just, "Oh, I need this money," and so they
Yeah.
rewriting, and then when they get mad with the bank, "Oh, y'all didn't want to give me this money? Okay." When you look, you see them come, "I need a printout." They
Yeah.
call the Commonwealth. Then 6, 7 months later, You see them calling, they back again to Fidelity. I think, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah,
Yep.
we still have a lot of them.
Wow, because see, I work in audit, so I used to have to audit those stuff. So I always saw the turnover. I was like, gee, and like I say, I don't know. Do y'all tell customers how they losing money by paying them administration fee for a couple dollars?
Yeah, we do. We try to talk them out of it, but when their mind is set on getting that money, ain't much you could do to make them don't not get it.
Yeah, they be like, you in my business? You know all my
Yeah,
book. That's what they
yeah.
do. Hmm. Yeah, well, like I say, and that's why I say a lot of times, the media and different persons blame the bank, but I've seen where you could tell a customer, no, I think it's not good. They tell you could tell them what they could do. And so a lot of persons, like I know when I taught the same class, Business of Banking back in 2015, there was a young lady who worked at Commonwealth Bank, and she said to me, she said, I asked her how, with the same thing I'm talking about now. She said, boy, Miss Smith, some of them people just carry $200 home from Commonwealth Bank. I was like, what? $200? And she said a lot of them who wait to Kentucky, wait to Wendy's. I say, but for a person who work in a bank or a person, if you can't get salary deduction, you can't get a loan. I say, and she said, Miss Smith, some of them people at Wendy's and Kentucky, they borrow up to 40,000. I was like, well, Jesus, they can't have no money to take home if they borrowing all that money. She said, Miss Smith, some of them left with $200. I used to feel so sorry. I used to say, you used to feel sorry, but you used to still give them loan because you all still, Miss Francois, you all still have to make those targets.
Yes, ma'am.
So their targets, I remember that, boy. And I remember one boss boy when they do that thing. If you ain't, yeah, you see, he still is put it where you always have the red. If you only
Yeah,
make your
the
time.
green, red, yellow, and green.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, but it's all over because it's a big competition, and so it's having to see what customers you bring in. So everybody's stealing customers from everybody. Yeah, yeah. But that's the rat race, what is happening in our country today, and that's why we have so much debts, because a lot of people, Christmas gone, you must see know how much of them been in there looking for loan for Christmas, just for one day. I always say, no, one day I spending money, nope. And until, I guess, like I say, the loan officers and bankers try to educate people, but I guess when, like you say, when people stuck on what they want to do, you can't deter them. And also in this chapter, I talk about banker customer relationship, classification of relationship. You have general relationship, debtor, creditor. You have creditor, debtor. You have bank and trustee, bailee, bailor, principal and agents, pawnee, and so they're the stuff I talk about, the mortgager, the mortgagee, rights and duties of a customer towards the banker, the rights of a customer, the duty of a customer, the rights of a bank, and the duties of a bank. So they're the stuff that they're there, that we will be going over. And like I say, again, reiterating that whenever we have a chapter, we will have an assignment, and some we can have a quiz. And in this chapter, I also gave you some case studies, so you'll see those and we can talk about them. Chapter 6 also talks about the customer, but we talk about the different products. But for a customer, we talk about the retail banks in the UK, then I show you the savings products, current accounts, deposit accounts, individual savings, term deposit, loan products, mortgage, personal loans, credit card, which is also a loan, which is a revolving credit, overdraft too, which is a loan. Some people overdraw their accounts and don't realize that your account being overdrawn, you charge a NSF fee, what is now $27.50. Then you charge overdraft fees at the end of the month. Then I also talk about protection products, which is life insurance, health insurance, general insurance, general insurance, which a lot of people, I guess, with cars, and a lot of people with buildings, and a lot of people don't actually take out contents insurance, which relates to the furnitures and stuff in their house. They don't. They take just on the building. And I talk about travel insurance too. Then I talk about foreign exchange, money transfer, and safety deposit box. And I just talk about the different savings accounts again, and talk about why we save, reasons. Why do you think we save? Why do you think we save? What are some of the reasons why you think we save for? Hello?
Repeat that for me.
Why do we save? Give me one or two reasons why you think we as individuals save money.
For emergency purposes, to be able to live comfortably.
Some of the reasons we save because, we save because we want to become financially independent. We want to be able to save 50% on everything you buy, plus 24% on groceries. We want to save because we need to get a home, which is very hard. Young people today, I'm sorry, because the properties is killing you with the price. And then don't try to talk, but you're trying to get a house, even to build now. The closing cost is like, wow. And when you go to the bank, they say, no, that's 40,000 you got to come up with. We also save for retirement. We save to get out of debt, We save for annual expense. We save for vacation instead of going to the bank for the money. We save for vacation. And we save to have a good life, And then I also talk about the type of customers we have, like type of customers, sole accounts, joint accounts, minor, sole trader, companies, trustees, clubs and society. And we know clubs and society is like, you could have the Zonta Club, you could have the Red Cross, stuff like that. Then I also talk about the companies and the different documentations you need to open accounts, like public and private companies, individual companies, documentations you need, like memo of articles of association. These are stuff, especially if it's a limited company, these are the stuff you have to have. Then I talk about trust accounts, club accounts. I just give a brief summary of those. Then we come to chapter 7, which we talk about payments and payment system, which is payments, which we were talking about with credit card, checks. These are stuff that we use to make payments. And now we have online banking where we do a lot of that, which is, I think for me, is good, but still, they're not totally, a lot of people still who are not, they're still not wanting to be bothered with online banking. So I know they're supposed to phase out checks, but it's still there. So that's not been phased out quite as yet. And that's why now with checking accounts, we have that. Like before, back in the days, we had where checks took more than a day to clear. Like sometimes they put a check on hold for 5 and 6 days. And now same day process. So if you write a check today and expecting to have some leeway to say, oh, I ain't gotta worry, that check ain't coming through till tomorrow. That check is in your account today because the ACH, it's coming through today. It's coming through today. And back in the days too, we had mobile phone payment. I know PINCO used to have that where you could call on the phone and do your transfers from one account to the next. But That service has been long depleted, thrown away. But and like I say too, we have the Bahamas Automated Clearinghouse. This is now, which started in 2010. It's now a big thing here because no longer before, back in the days, every bank had where they meet at the central bank and they everybody bring their checks for exchange. Exchange, they no longer do that. Everything go to BACH now. So and they have different cutoff limits where one could the first cutoff could be at 11:30, 2:30, 4:30. I think the latest is 4:30. That the transactions can go through where we get the same day effect. Like I will transfer $500 from my Fidelity online to my RBC online. It gets there the same day. And if I write a check at Fidelity on a Royal Bank account, it gets to Royal Bank that same day. So clearing processes is if you don't have the money, the check getting returned, you're paying at $27.50, I believe. Yeah. Any questions? Any concern?
No.
No.
Okay.
No,
All right. Okay. And chapter 8 just deals with credit appraisal. Credit appraisal, is the lending cycle, it's the principle of lending. Talk about the character, with the principle of lending, the ICE, the campaign, the Campari and ICE, Campari and ICE. It talks about the different, it details each one of those letters. Campari, which is C is character, A is ability, and so it goes on. It talks about the mean, the margin, talks about the purpose, talks about the amount, the repayment term, and then it talks about insurance, which is a security, and talks about the different commission and fees, like we have administration fees, we have government stamp tax, government duty, and it's just a processing application fees, yeah. And also talk about the personal credit score. And like I mentioned before, in the back of the book, you'll see me talking about have a pamphlet on the credit bureau. Yeah. Bank securities, like what bank hold, like when they get a loan now, most banks hold what? Government salary deduction. How do y'all feel about the new security that is being held? Government salary deduction from private sectors. How do y'all feel about that? Do you think that's a good security?
I haven't personally heard about it. Can you give a little more details about it?
Ms. Francois, are you able to tell him what the government salary deduction or salary deduction on the whole, what do y'all do?
Can you repeat that for me? What do you mean? What do we do?
When y'all get I want him to know when I say if you think salary deduction is a good security, tell him what salary deduction is that y'all hold on to when customers come to get a loan.
Oh, well, first off, we create a salary deduction account, and then their place of employment have to stamp it. So whenever they get paid, that money comes directly to us.
To their savings account or
Yeah.
whatever account.
And then once it gets there, we just take it off.
Yeah, it's an automatic transfer. So that's what it's all about. So I'm trying to say, do you think that's a good security, a bank security?
Yes, it is.
Why you say that?
I say that because anything could happen, but say that person gets fired, their job would have to notify us.
Yeah, but they get fired, and the job of to notify you, still how y'all get the money. Y'all have no more deduction.
Well, that's why we put more insurances on the loans.
Okay, so now y'all doing the insurances now.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all doing that now. See, because Commonwealth Bank always did that. You didn't get no loan from Commonwealth Bank because they had their own insurance company, that, and you'll see it when y'all read chapter 1. You will see they had their own insurance company. Commonwealth had their own insurance company, so any loan they give, that was insured. But I know when I was at Fidelity, that was not the case. Only some customers' loan, they had that, what they call it, the credit something, yeah, insurance. But yeah, if y'all doing that now, because before we had a lot of people who left, and then some people were incarcerated. Several persons with big loans, 70,000 and more, and not a one bank. A majority of banks who didn't have, and some people just leave because they gone to Canada and they say, I ain't paying that loan no more. They going to Canada and leave. And so the bank had to write them loans off. They could be active or inactive charge off. Some loans are charge off, actively charge off, and some are inactive charge off. So a lot of people think that because the bank do a charge off, oh, I ain't gonna worry, I gotta pay them. That bank could find you, and you could try to come get a loan again or something. And guess what?
Hello.
Hi.
I don't know if you saw my message, but I was like, yes, Commonwealth Bank still has an insurance company, and that's
Okay.
Laurentide.
Yeah, long
All of
time they
these
were
banks
always
do. All of them have insurance
now,
companies. Yeah, every last single one of them.
because before they didn't. So a lot of times, like I know before, like certain persons at the bank, when they like persons who were older or persons who had some illness or something, they used to take out the credit something insurance when I was at that company. Yeah, but now that's good because you can't just. That's why I was asking y'all if y'all think government salary deduction just by itself was okay. But so it's good now, but Commonwealth always did. That's their insurance company. They always did that. So you didn't get a one up on them. You decide that you leaving the company. And a lot of people do that. I remember somebody was on Facebook and she was saying that she worked at government and her husband was separated, but he was living in the house and the money was coming out of pay. And so she left. Oh, no more money was coming out of pay. She left the job and he, because the mortgages in both names, so he had to be responsible for paying. And a lot of people go through that because situations happen. The next person who the salary deduction coming from, they don't even live in the house. The person who ain't paying nothing still lives in the house. Yeah, yeah, but like I say, it's good to know. It's good to know. It's good to know now that they actually does that. Yeah, it's good to know. Yeah. And like I say, that's what it talks about the advantages and the disadvantages of having security, you know. And then I talk about the different security like land, life insurance, guarantee, indemnity, debenture, floating charge. They are stuff that I talk about the valuation of the security, um, the procedure step in perfecting a security. So all of that is there. And then we come to chapter 10, which is recovery of money. And we know that in the climate that we live in today from COVID, so many people has fall behind and a lot of people have lost their home. A lot of people lost their cars. You know, it was some people fault of theirs and some people COVID. Because when COVID came along, a lot of people who had good positions in companies, hotels that were laying off or shut down, like especially Bahama, everybody was getting that scene. You might have made $7,000 a month, but when you went to NIB, you all lost get that same whatever they was giving you. So all I stand on that line for that same pay. And you know, if you get that, how could that your mortgage is what? $3,000 a month and you have no job. And so that's why I always say to anybody today, don't just depend on one income. Try to find another income, like another job. Not just be say, oh, I'm a banker. Try to do something else. So you're flexible. So if anything happen, you'll be like, oh yeah, the bank did this or the hotel, but hey, I got this other little side gig that I doing, so it's still able to help me bring in some money. Yeah. And like I see today, a lot of people just leaving the banks leaving companies and starting their own little business. They had their little business going on whilst they was working, and now they actually just leave. But like I say, talk about how the cost of non-repayment of loans, and like I just spoke about it, I have different scans for you all to see, and we talk about risks. And like I say, when we take out when a bank take out a loan, they have a wish list that they know for some customers, because you just take out the loan and the first 3 months you pay, and then the fourth month you won't pay it. So the bank look at it that way and say, okay, they already put you on the wish list. They know this could go where it could be a non-performing loan. Can anybody tell me, when does a bank or a company consider a loan non-performing? At what period? What time? How much months?
After 90 days.
3 months. 3 months a loan is non-performing. 3 months. 3 months a loan becomes non-performing. And so when a loan becomes non-performing, what happens there, like how you pay principal and interest, like we know when we pay our loan, when you look at it, if you just get that loan, all your money going to interest, couple dollars going to principal. So when a loan becomes non-performing, what happens now, no money goes to interest. Everything just goes to the principal until that loan is refinanced, regularized, or whatever, or paid off, and everything just goes to the principal. And a lot of people had to do rewriting of their loans. So when the loans is rewritten, then they refinance. So then they do new calculations. But once a loan is non-performing, all the money, no money goes to interest. The bank, that doesn't go to the bank. Everything sits in your principal. And like I say, a lot of times people get loans, and a lot of times you'd find that customers do themselves injustice by going saying, oh, they have a friend who have a company and say, oh, I need this mortgage. Girl say I work for you. So this person write up one letter and say, oh, Mr. Pinder, I have a job working for me, making $500 a week live. So the person get a loan with the regular job they have, and then the side job, or even the regular job they have working for Mr. Pinder, and he put one big salary, so it helps them to qualify at the bank. But people don't understand at the end of the day what happens. What happens at the end of the day is that you can't pay the loan. You cannot pay the loan. You can't pay the loan. So what happens when you can't pay the loan? You got that big loan, you put down the deposit, correct, but then the first 3 months you pay, then the next month you can't pay. Then that same money, that same thing that you allow somebody to lie about, that you make this money, you have to pay this mortgage every month, and you don't make that money, so that's lies. You just be able to get the loan. And then a lot of times people too, when it comes to non-performing, a lot of times people go buy all the furniture in the house, buy this, get that, buy the next, decorate, have the house, get the yard in order, but they forget they got to pay the bank. So what happens? They ain't have no money to pay the bank when the mortgage payment is due. So what happens then? Their loan go in default. The bank have this nice house to sell, and you don't pay hardly no money. So how much money you can get back? And that's what people don't understand. People don't understand that. Just be upfront. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. If you can afford a house cost $130,000, that's what you get. But a lot of times people want more, and so wanting more and making less causes yourself to get into the delinquent stage, non-performing. And the bank have to recover their money, so house is going to be for sale because the bank have to recover. And anybody has to know, when a bank has your house for sale, they sell market value. Your house could value whatever you think. The bank just want to recuperate what you have for them, And so your house could value $800,000. The bank could sell your house for $500,000, and then you could still owe the bank $300 and something thousand. So how much money you getting back after the bank that take out all these fees and the interest that you didn't pay, how much you getting back? Not very much. And so that's why I say to people, with loans, be very careful. And that's why I say to lenders, especially persons who deal with customers, tell them. Because I don't know if y'all know, look in the papers, sometimes you see that the banks have houses for sale. Yeah. Because right now next to me, I have a house. That girl struggled to get this house. And right now, that house, the bank put her out. But the bank, she had so much opportunities because she had a loan at one bank, didn't pay them for 5 years. Then she was lucky that she had favor at another bank and was able to pay off that bank a delinquent loan for 5 years. And she had another chance, but she didn't look at it as another chance, and which she did. She didn't pay, and the next bank totally put her out. And now the house has been there going on 4 years. Just the birds always just flying from over there over here to my house, and I'd be like, yeah. And every day I pray that somebody could buy the house, but nobody biting. And so that's with delinquency, and like I say, bank has to recover. Bank want their money back, so it's on you if you choose to put yourself in a debt and can't pay it back. That's what happens. Yeah. Any questions, any concerns? Because you're all so quiet, boy. Next week, y'all better don't be quiet like this, because I can call you all out. Any questions, any concerns?
No, mom.
Okay. Commonwealth Bank. Anybody work the Commonwealth? Yes, right? Let me see. No. Bank of the Bahamas, Fidelity Bank. Y'all use, well, you wouldn't know. Fidelity, do y'all use the credit bureau when y'all doing a loan for people?
Yes, mom. For mostly for the private sector, we do we get credit reports.
Okay. And so it's up and running good now?
Yes, mom.
Okay. Because I know, like I said, I have a reading information for y'all. For discussion in class with the Bahamas Credit Bureau. Yeah. So y'all in the back of the book, you'll see the handout that we're gonna discuss. Okay. Who can be part of? Well, CRIF really deals. I guess they spearhead the credit union. Yeah. So I just got some, got it, and from the credit bureau. I just think it's good material for discussion and to go over, and good information to know. Yeah. I put a copy of how the credit report request form. So I put a little stuff in there so you know exactly, for persons who don't know, if you have a dispute because they say you owe Royal Bank $10,000 and you don't pay Royal off, there's a form that you could fill out to say, hey, I have a dispute because I'll have this on my credit report, but hey, this is my evidence, I paid Royal off. Yeah. So, like I say, any questions, any concerns? Because that is the end of my book. So let me know. Any questions, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to talk about when it comes to housekeeping, anything. Let's talk about it. Hello? Nobody?
No, mom.
Not as yet.
Okay. Well, for y'all who have the books, well, because a lot of y'all don't, I would appreciate if y'all can have y'all book, read chapter 1, because like I said, I went over briefly, just highlighting the areas in the book. So if you can go over chapter 1, so we could talk about it, not in total detail, but like I said, it's going to be an assignment, which I will, hopefully all of y'all get the book by Wednesday, so which I will probably send out to you all by Tuesday. So y'all have the book on Wednesday. Okay? But that's the class for tonight. And like I say, you have my cell, you have my email. So any questions, any concerns, feel free to reach out to me. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I look forward to hearing from you all with any questions and concerns. And I look forward to a lively discussion next week, Monday. Not this, nobody talking. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I don't want next week. Pardon me?
Yes, ma'am.
Because next week, I only hearing you say yes, ma'am. I'm asking everybody.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because like I say, we ain't doing this boring class what we had today, where ain't nobody saying, I ain't doing it, sorry, it ain't happening, because I call out everybody. I have the list, I take my register every week, I have all my register, I tick to say you was here, and like I say, I got your names, I be calling y'all out, and that's what I can be doing, saying that, are y'all waiting for me to say, y'all do it. I be calling y'all out, so y'all better read that book. Have them chapters read when I say read, because I ain't coming to class and sitting there and saying, okay, Francois, you read, Monroe, you read, Wilson, you, I can say, Monroe, you read that Bank of the Bahamas, give me some points that you gathered from Bank of the Bahamas. And if we need further discussion, I go on further discussion with it. But it ain't gonna be me, that's the only way. Because I used to say to my class, I say, I sure if I come here and talk about, okay, like today, they show the video of the person trying to rob the woman on Carmichael Road, and then they could say, it was a defense force officer who was off for 2 months. I was like, what is this? And if I say, let's talk about that, everybody would have their big input. So let's treat it the same way. I say all the time we can just be just into this. So sometimes I give you a little case study and say, hey, let's discuss that. What you think this happened? Why you think? What you think they should have done? Yes, like that. But I want to be able where we can draw from each other. I may say something, but you have an opinion which make a lot of sense too. So I just want us to interact, because it makes the time go by fast, and it makes it better, because we learn from each other. Each person work in a different field. Bob, he works in a different area. Archer in Central Bank, she could say some stuff to us, give us some guidelines where she can. You have Royal Bank, you have the BLECCU, you have them. So you could give us some highlight of services and products that you all offer, which may be different from what we are used to in the financial sector, like a Royal Bank or Fidelity or a FinCo or a BOB, like that, you know? And so, like I said, I just want where we're able to actually just have a good time in class. Don't make it boring where we just, oh, I got to go to that old class today. No, be excited to come because, hey, boy, we discussed this and boy, we went over that. And, I learned some stuff that I didn't know. And I could say, oh, BOB brought something to the table that, wow, I never knew. Central Bank brought something to the table. RBC, Fidelity, Insurance Commission, all of them. And so that's what, because Insurance Commission, they just like Central Bank, because they just go out to and audit people. Just like a Central Bank, just go out, bank supervision or inspection, whatever, they go out and they audit. Insurance Commission do the same thing. Yep. So, Mr. Wilson, what you do in the Insurance Commission now? Oh, that's a lady. Wilson. She left it.
You can hear me?
I can hear you now. Uh-huh.
I work in the intermediaries and market conduct unit. So I deal with the intermediaries. That's the companies that sell insurance on behalf of the insurers. So that's like your Shield
Oh,
Insurance and whatnot.
okay.
Hmm.
Alrighty. Alrighty. Anyway, y'all have a good night. I let y'all out early, but this don't the earliest I'd let y'all is 8:30. Okay?
All
But
right, good.
tonight I
Okay,
let
thank
y'all out
you.
early.
All right, thank
Alrighty,
you.
Good
take
night.
care.
Good
Bye
night.
Good
All
night.
right.
Good
bye.
night.
Okay, good night.